What's going on with the Stratos, I hear you say? Why is it still under the cover? What's he been doing? Well, I've been busy with other stuff, to be honest, not least of all flying back and forth to the UK. But we have been diagnosing and waiting for parts and other stuff. Welcome back to the stratosphere. So after David and I took the bits and pieces off and he took them back down to Mike, he's been having a look and seeing what's been going on, talking to his AC guy. And it turns out the new compressor that we bought and the original Alpha clutch didn't quite hit it off together. Different surfaces probably grabbing and as you can see, bit of a mess. Yeah. So Mike's cleaned all that up. There are some tolerances that need probably adjusting minutely, so there's a certain amount of shimmying going on. And in other news from IDR, unfortunately the pulley on the compressor was also warped, distorted, screwed. So we've got to find another one of those. That'll be fun, because that's the Alpha part. By the way, thanks for tuning in again, if you are indeed tuning in again. If you're tuning in for the first time, there's plenty of other videos to watch on the Stratos. And subscribe while you're here, somewhere down there. And of course, encourage others to watch my lunacy. And of course, give the video the thumbs up. Why wouldn't you? Turns out these 7x5 PV7 PV5 pulleys are as rare as proverbial rocking horse doo-doo. With the odds of finding them apparently less than 1 in 109 million, according to eBay. Not helpful. Yes, indeed, we've had people of the length and breadth of the country looking for such an item. AC specialist in Georgia, another Alpha guy in California, and even across the pond, my good friends Will and Steph have been hunting this part down without success. So at this point we've got a couple of options. Firstly, Mike can actually just make one, which will be extremely time consuming and therefore expensive. Alternatively, I had this brainwave. Always dangerous. And I did check my thought process with my good friend Will, which is always a good idea. And here's the thought: we could use one of the easier to find 6x5 pulleys, which I think they're off the Alpha 159 AC compressor, and therefore use just a 6-groove belt for the water pump and the main crank, assuming we can find one the right length. So that would negate the difficulty of finding aforementioned rocking horse doo-doo now and in the future, because who knows, it might break again. Meantime, good news on the Stratos. Yes, light at the end of the tunnel. The elusive rocking horse doo-doo part from California has come in. It's not warped, it's in good shape, and Mike is busy fitting it to the compressor. It's the pulley, the 7 PV5 PV7 pulley. And yeah, so hopefully that means we'll have all the parts ready to refit, and my baby will be back on the road. Well, we have all the bits back from IDR and the customary oily rag. Thank you, Mike, as always. So I suppose we should get on with it. I'm just a little bit dubious about tackling it all by myself. David also kindly donated me this. Yes. Oh, what? Sorry? Oh, I need some money. Okay. Yeah, fire extinguisher. So we've got to work out where we're going to put that in the car. I don't know quite what he's intimating by purchasing such an item, but you can never be too careful, and it's always best to be prepared, as per my own experience. Yes, with my beloved TVR Griffith many, many years ago, which spectacularly caught fire. In fact, the very day before I lost my license for 6 months. Alright, it's time to get on with this. Although we haven't got both the belts, we were able to get one at the local O'Reilly's. I guess it's a fairly popular PV5 belt. And the other one's coming in on Thursday. And Mikey has another pair spare in Phoenix, so all is good for the future. So first up, I think we're going to mount the alternator, which, if you remember, goes in there. Yes, those two mounts there. And I'm doing this all on my Jack Jones, so wish me luck. Alright, we've got it all jacked up, everything's up in the air, as usual, and while I got the wheel off, I thought you might like to see the other side of it. It's a bit grimy because I didn't clean that, but there's how it's made up on the inside. Beautiful wheels, beautiful wheels. Just a work of art. So last off, first on, I think. Alternator, yes. We've got two bolts in there, and yet we've already got one big bolt there ready to go on. I don't remember there being three. Confused already. Good. Likewise, while I got everything off, you might like a quick close-up view of the brakes. Pretty impressive braking system, actually. Yeah, twin pots at the front, and then at the back there for the handbrake. Lovely. But before we get on to mounting anything, just running through everything, make sure where everything goes and what everything is. And thankfully, David and I labelled this stuff because I guess we had to cut this wire, which goes to the AC compressor. Yes, the troublesome AC compressor. And there's that beautiful Busso V6, by the way. God, that's a work of art too. So I'm just giving myself a little extension on the AC bit, and I've had to change from the factory fitting on the actual brand new compressor, which is a bullet. I don't like bullets, and I haven't got any females, so I've changed to a spade, and we got matching pairs of them. And for that extension of the cable, I've used one of my favourite little heat shrink wrap doofers, and there's my male replacing the bullet on the compressor itself. So yeah, and I'm doing this obviously before we get it in situ because it's a lot easier when it's out here on the bench. Obviously. So without my glamorous assistant to help me here, I've had to employ a bungee strap around the top engine stay to keep that pipe out the way while I put the alternator in. And actually that turned out to be a false avenue, because to get the alternator up here, this had to be kind of in this position. Then I had to obviously lift the alternator over the cooling pipe to get that bottom bolt in there, which you can see is now slotted all the way through, and we're ready for the next stage. Ready as we'll ever be anyway. So again, while I could, I hooked up the main positive to the alternator while it was loose and jangling around, and I could position it where I wanted to, and then got this top bolt through, which was quite the palaver, I have to say, especially when you're such a gimp with your left hand as I am. So it was quite contorted. I was holding the alternator in place with my left hand, whilst trying to get that bolt in with my right hand, because I got a better feel in my right hand. That's all it is. You know, I'm just completely not ambidextrous, and it's quite difficult to get to, as you can see. So imagine getting your left hand up there while your right hand's doing that. Anyway, we got there. So that's the alternator kind of vaguely in place. I'm not going to tighten any of that up. unduly, apart from the earth lead and this boy, not the earth lead, the positive, and this boy, which again David and I labelled, so I'm guessing that goes to the rather difficult to see and probably access smaller terminal on the alternator. Whilst my newly extended power cable for the AC unit, which will probably never get commissioned again, is there, ready. Anyway, you know me, you may remember I ordered some stickers a while ago from a website in the UK, and they arrived and they're the right size, and so I thought I'd put them on while I got it uncovered. Yeah, and yeah, I like that. Now for the door. Lovely jubbly. It may not be the appropriate position, but given that it's pretty much the same size as the door lock, I thought I'd put it above that. Each their own. I like it. That's all that matters. And I also know, you know, most people have this kind of like this here. They have it following a level of the ground, whereas I've chosen to follow that line there, and that's my idea. Anyway, I know it's about as Italian as a Chicago deep pan pizza, but I think a nod to Monsieur de Bertone. Monsieur, what the hell? Senor, no, that's Spanish. My Italian's rubbish. Anyway, Bertone, I think we should acknowledge his input to the overall design of this car. And I've got some other stickers just in case. I don't know where I'm going to put them, if at all, but there you go. So back to making it work again. My only concern is that I have this bolt left over, but there's nowhere to put it, so yet anyway. So I shall confer with Mr. Michael Carpenter at IDR as to where that might go and what David and I have gotten. Meantime, I'm going to hook up that to the small terminal on the alternator, and then I think I'm going to call it a day for today. And while I'm exploring things, I'm exploring the magical cockpit of the Stratos, and isn't it? It's just amazing. Anyway, I'm thinking the best place for the fire extinguisher is probably here. That's where it would have probably been put in a rally situation, something like that. The other alternative is on in between the seats, but I don't like that so much. I think that's where it's going to go. What a beautiful place to be. And on that note, I think we'll call it a day. We are waiting indefinitely, potentially, for the other belt anyway. And let's kick off the next episode with fitting the compressor and getting the belts on and firing her up again. So thanks for watching as usual. If you liked what you saw in any way, shape or form, give it a thumbs up. To ensure you don't miss the next update and getting her running again, make sure you're subscribed down here somewhere. And of course, encourage others to watch my lunacy.